Before we start, a quick note. This video is for education only. It is not medical advice, it is not a cancer treatment plan, and it should never replace care from a licensed physician or oncology team. Why do some people seem to stay stronger for longer, while others struggle earlier than expected? Most people immediately think of genetics, prescriptions, or hospital treatments. But sometimes the conversation also includes something much simpler: the everyday compounds found in food. There is one tiny seed that has quietly stayed in the background for centuries. You've probably seen it in spice aisles, health stores, or traditional kitchens without giving it a second thought. Yet modern researchers have spent years studying one of its key compounds because of how it behaves in laboratory and early-stage research. That seed is Nigella sativa, often called black seed or black cumin. And inside it is a bioactive compound called Thymoquinone. Now let's be very clear from the beginning. Black seed is not a miracle cure. It is not a substitute for chemotherapy, immunotherapy, surgery, or any prescribed treatment. But what makes it fascinating is that researchers have explored it for its role in inflammation, oxidative stress, immune signaling, and cellular repair. And that matters because your body is rebuilding itself every day. Your blood cells are constantly being renewed. Your gut lining is being repaired. Your immune system is always scanning for trouble. Your tissues are dealing with wear, stress, toxins, poor sleep, and aging in real time. None of that stops. The question is whether your body has the support it needs to keep up. That is where stem cells enter the story. Stem cells are often talked about like some futuristic science topic, but in reality, they are part of your body's maintenance crew. They help replace damaged cells, support regeneration, and keep essential systems functioning. You can think of them like repair workers spread across different neighborhoods of the body. Some help renew your blood and immune system. Some help maintain the gut lining. Some support the brain's adaptability. Others are involved in tissue repair in organs under stress. The challenge is that, with age and chronic stress, those repair systems do not always perform the way they once did. Recovery slows, inflammation lingers longer, damage accumulates more easily. The body can still repair, but sometimes not as efficiently. This is one reason researchers became interested in Thymoquinone. In laboratory settings, black seed compounds have been studied for how they interact with oxidative stress, inflammatory signaling, and cellular pathways tied to regeneration. Some early findings have suggested that these compounds may help create a more supportive environment for healthy cellular function. In simple terms, researchers are asking a big question. Can this natural compound help the body protect its own repair systems while also making the internal environment less friendly to disease? That's where the research gets especially interesting. Scientists have investigated how Thymoquinone interacts with pathways involved in antioxidant defense. One of the most discussed is the NRF2 pathway, which plays a role in helping cells respond to oxidative stress. When oxidative stress stays high for too long, cells age faster, function less efficiently, and become more vulnerable to damage. You can imagine oxidative stress like rust spreading through a machine. The machine may still work for a while, but eventually performance drops. Compounds that support the body's own antioxidant response are being studied because they may help slow that wear and tear. Researchers have also explored how black seed compounds may affect inflammatory signaling. Chronic inflammation is not just about pain or swelling. It can influence immunity, recovery, energy, and long-term resilience. When inflammation becomes constant, the body spends more time fighting fires and less time rebuilding. That brings us to the part of this discussion that needs the most caution: cancer-related research. Black seed and Thymoquinone have been studied in cell and animal models for several cancer-related mechanisms. Some studies suggest that Thymoquinone may influence pathways involved in abnormal cell growth, inflammation, programmed cell death, and the formation of blood vessels that tumors rely on. But this is where responsible language matters. Laboratory findings are not the same as proven human treatment outcomes. A result in a petri dish is not the same as a clinical recommendation. A finding in animals is not the same as a therapy approved for patients. So if you are dealing with cancer, the correct takeaway is not replace treatment with a seed. The correct takeaway is that this is an interesting area of supportive research that still requires medical guidance and stronger human evidence. What scientists find promising is that thymoquinone appears to act on multiple biological pathways at once. One area of interest is inflammation-related signaling, including pathways like NF-kappa B, which has been linked to chronic inflammatory activity. Another area is apoptosis, the process by which damaged or abnormal cells are signaled to shut down in an orderly way. Researchers have also examined its relationship to VEGF, a signal involved in blood vessel formation. Those are complex terms, but the big idea is simple. Researchers are studying whether thymoquinone may help support healthy cells while making it harder for harmful processes to thrive. That's a powerful idea, but again, it is an area of research, not a guaranteed outcome. Another reason black seed stands out is its long history. It appears in traditional systems of medicine across multiple regions, including the Middle East, South Asia, and the Mediterranean. For generations, it was used in food and wellness practices for digestion, respiratory health, and recovery. History alone does not prove effectiveness, but sometimes traditional use sparks scientific curiosity. And that is exactly what happened here. Researchers took an old remedy and started testing it with modern tools. What they found was not a fantasy story, it was biochemistry. So what does this mean for someone watching at home? It means black seed may be worth understanding as part of a broader wellness conversation, especially when we talk about inflammation, oxidative stress, and daily nutritional support. It does not mean it should be treated like a cure-all. If you want the practical side, here's the simplest version. Black seed is commonly used in two main forms: whole seeds and black seed oil. The oil is usually the more concentrated option, while the whole seeds are often used in food. Many people prefer cold-pressed black seed oil because less processing may help preserve key compounds. If you use the oil, quality matters. Look for cold-pressed products stored in dark glass and handled carefully because light, heat, and air can degrade sensitive compounds over time. A fresh, high-quality oil should smell sharp and distinct, not stale. Whole seeds can also be useful, especially when lightly crushed before eating. Cracking the seed helps release the active compounds more effectively than swallowing them whole. Because thymoquinone is fat-soluble, many people take black seed oil with meals. Pairing it with foods like yogurt, eggs, avocado, or olive oil may help with absorption. Some people also combine black seed with honey in traditional wellness routines, though that should be viewed as a food practice rather than a medical prescription. And if you are focusing on dietary synergy, cruciferous vegetables deserve attention too. Foods like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts contain compounds that are widely studied for cellular protection and detox support. Black seed does not need to work alone. In nutrition, combinations often matter more than isolated ingredients. But let's talk honestly about expectations. This is not the kind of thing where you take it for 3 days and suddenly feel transformed. The research around nutrition and bioactive compounds usually points to consistency, not instant results. Your body changes through repeated inputs over time: better sleep, movement, lower stress, nutrient density, and habits you actually maintain. That's why one of the biggest mistakes people make is expecting one food, one oil, or one supplement to do the work of an entire lifestyle. Another mistake is buying low-quality products and assuming all black seed oil is the same. It isn't. Purity, storage, freshness, and standardization all matter. A third mistake is heating the oil aggressively. If you want to cook with black seed, whole seeds are generally the better choice. The oil is better used raw or added after cooking. And now for the part many videos skip: who should be careful? If you are pregnant, trying to conceive, taking blood thinners, managing very low blood pressure, preparing for surgery, or undergoing active cancer treatment, do not start black seed supplements casually. Talk to your doctor first. Natural does not automatically mean risk-free, especially when medications or medical conditions are involved. And if you are currently in cancer treatment, this matters even more. Supportive nutrition can be valuable, but your oncology team needs to know everything you are taking, including herbs, oils, and supplements, because interactions are possible. So what is the real message of this video? Not hype, not fear, not false promises. The real message is that your body is not passive. Every day it is repairing, adapting, cleaning up damage, and responding to what you feed it. Some foods and plant compounds may help support that process. Black seed is one of the more intriguing examples because it sits at the intersection of ancient use and modern research. It reminds us that health is not shaped by one dramatic moment alone. It is built or neglected through repeated daily inputs. A tiny seed will not override every problem, but a tiny seed, used wisely and viewed realistically, can be part of a much bigger picture: lower inflammatory load, better nutritional support, smarter daily habits, and a more informed relationship with your own biology. So if you remember only 3 things from this video, make it these. First, black seed, Nigella sativa, contains Thymoquinone, a compound being studied for its role in inflammation, oxidative stress, immune signaling, and cellular health. Second, the cancer-related findings you may hear about are promising, but still largely based on preclinical and limited human research. That makes them important to study, but not something to exaggerate. Third, if you want better long-term health, think bigger than one ingredient. Think patterns, think consistency, think sleep, movement, whole foods, stress control, and informed choices repeated over months and years. Because that is how resilience is built. And sometimes the most powerful shift is not discovering magic. It is finally paying attention to what has been quietly in front of us all along. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who wants a more grounded, research-aware approach to wellness. And if you want, I can also help turn this into a shorter YouTube version, a faceless video format, or a scene-by-scene storyboard next.